I don't know if you've been told, but what is that from? Oh, it's from Pitch Perfect.
Please let this be a normal field trip.
With friends?
No way.
Ah, my head hurts.
Look how much I've grown. My Adam's apple's very defined now.
So hi, people that are just us. I have a headache. I came up with this in maybe 2 hours.
Amen.
I just did all the prep for it while Nick just stood in my room awkwardly. That's okay. We're gonna play a game. It's raining. You can probably hear that.
Just started raining. This is gonna be, now this is an
That's
ASMR
okay.
video.
Now it's relaxing. So, I don't actually know how many I have. 14.
That's a lot.
I think it's 14. We also know from my last video I can't count though, so we'll see what happens. Fairytales. Basically, I went on Wikipedia and we found a list of every fairy tale ever. Some of them just had a very interesting title. I'm just giving Nick a title of one of these fairy tales, and Nick gets to tell the fairy tale.
What's really happening here is you, the viewing audience, is about to get 14 brand new fairy tales.
I'm gonna say you have like 30 seconds.
Done.
A minute. I'm gonna give you a minute. Are you ready for the first of these fairy tales?
Yeah.
The Flying Trunk.
Hell yeah. Heck yeah. You've heard of Pandora's Box. Well, get that picture out of your mind because this is brand new. The Flying Trunk started off a beautiful young princess found by a drug dealer. Why would I say that? I'm gonna go with it. And
okay. Why are you acting like this is scripted?
It's scripted in my head. To keep things simple, the princess kidnapped.
Yes.
Trunk of car.
Oh.
Flying car. That's a good start.
Okay. Father Roach.
Picture this. The early 1700s. The Catholic Church. What a wild time. In a small town where good looks and traditional values are all that's important, one actual roach comes in and shakes up everything we know. So it's like Footloose. Okay. Instead, he brings religion.
So he is a priest. This Roach?
Yeah, Father Roach is a priest. He solves crimes. He dances. He dances in front of John Lithgow. This is Footloose again. I'm confident about that one.
Fairies or no fairies? Fairies or no fairies?
Okay, a young boy goes out into his backyard. He sees things. He sees lights. He sees branches,
Fairies?
tree branches. He sees maybe fairies. He goes back. He goes to the scientist in the town. The town scientist. He's like, what about fairies? And the man is like, I'll do my research.
This is turning into Stardust.
No, because he goes to his parents and he's like, I have this town scientist is working on finding the fairies I've seen, and his parents are like, no fairies.
Or
fairies.
Or fairies. Okay. The Eggshell Dinner.
Okay. I'm gonna make up the name of a village if that's alright.
That's okay. You have free reign.
Kanakafya. In the village of Kanakafya, the king of the village orders himself the finest dinner to be made by the best chef in Kanakafya. And it's during the Depression. Depression.
So it's just eggshells.
You're jumping ahead of me here. The Kanakafya Depression left everyone in ruins. And the chef, hearing the king's orders, starts digging through his food. But alas, there is nothing there. He's throwing open cabinets.
That's it.
Gosh darn.
It's just eggshells.
It's just, he does just get eggshells though.
Okay, here's a good one. The Bewitched Churn.
The Blair Witch Trials?
The Bewitched Churn.
The Blair Witch Project.
No. Also, the Blair Witch Trials wasn't a thing.
Yeah, they were.
You just made that one up completely.
Churn?
Churn. Butter.
Okay.
I don't know how they did it.
This is a classic New Orleans fairy tale.
Okay.
Old lady, old grandma, old mama. Odie.
That's from The Princess and the Frog.
We're gonna go with it. Old Mama Odie.
She is a crossover.
Brother of Garfield. heavens to Betsy, did she churn her butter. Until one day she was shot by a witch doctor, and she died churning the butter, as Mama Odie always did. It's 50 years later, the New Orleans children run into the bayou, and they find the churn urn, the butter churn, and they pick it up. It's covered in dust. Out jumps her spirit, and she churns them to death. They don't have any unfinished business, though, so it's actually fine for them.
They're children.
Yeah, they weren't doing a lot.
The demon cat. I actually read this one. I clicked on the link. I was intrigued.
Obviously, all dogs go to heaven.
Obviously.
But what happens to cats? This tale explores the metaphysical afterlife of our feline brothers and sisters, those cats. So it's cats versus dogs, and the demon cat is the king of the bad cats. The angel dog, which is the sequel. They battle it out.
You said he was the king of the bad cats, but are there still good cats?
Angel cats. Now you're getting into the lore of it. Yeah, there are.
Cold Feet and the queen of Lonesome Island.
So, Alright, Cold Feet, the most charming prince. People came from miles around just to see his...
Cold Feet.
When his true love passes away, he goes, sow his wild oats, yes?
Thank you,
And
Polonius.
cold his wild feet. And,
That one didn't work.
alas, a great tempest, a crash upon the island.
Many Shakespeare plays.
Can we fit? To Lonesome Island. He finds there a tribe of the most beautiful women, led by...
Diana of Themyscira.
Why would that...
That's it.
It ends in marriage.
I have approximately no idea how to pronounce this. And I also have no idea if we're talking about a name or a place or a person, a curse, baby, food, vegetable, animal, or mineral. The Gila Nagruaga Dana.
Got it. Stay with me here. He is a busy businessman. She is a single mother. When his boss tells him that he has to attract a new client, he goes to the city of Sweetheart with his most charming business personality. Turns out this old Scrooge can break for a good love. It's a Christmas movie.
What the?
I have a lot to go on.
You didn't do anything with the title. Who is the Gila Nagruaga Dana?
The boss.
Aha. Okay.
Can I just say I think I'm killing it?
Yeah, I like how they're all pitches. Back to our favorite topic, the brewery of eggshells.
What's happening? Once upon a time, it's Ireland.
I was hoping we would go back to Canafa.
In the village of Kanakavia,
Kanakaftia.
you'll learn to say it. Oh, how the giants, love eggs. Or people bones. And if they don't get the eggs, they get the people bones. Our hero, Kevin Bacon.
This one had nothing to do with Footloose.
I know. Eggs and bacon. He comes in and he opens up. He saves the village by making all the eggs. Turns out they're just eggshells, though. They deliver all the eggs, and it's just the eggshells.
The boy who drew cats.
This is the lamest fairy tale ever. Harold. He's got him a purple crayon.
Stop plagiarizing.
Fine. Different name. Ronnie loves his mom, and she loves him.
That's good.
He's got a bunch of colored pencils, and this boy just sits down, takes a day. Says cats?
Yes.
He draws the best Cats the Musical poster.
So these next two are, I can only assume, the same character. So
Like
you can't
boss.
kill him off in the middle, because there's another one.
Or I can.
Boots who ate a match with the troll.
You would be wrong to think that Boots is a name.
Oh,
Boots is anthropomorphic shoes. 'Tis a battle of wits. Troll? Not smart. Boots is Boots. Picture the most lovely table in the most beautiful castle.
You know I have a thing for tables.
Fire match. I know you've got that table thing. One match. Poisonous. One match, just fire match. Neither are on fire, both just sticks of wood.
What did I just say about plagiarizing?
This is not going to be the Princess Bride.
Is it going to be Sherlock?
So anyway, so Tro ends up dying. I hope Boots is the character that sticks around, not Troll. Boots ends up winning the match. And when I say winning the match, he ends up eating the match that's not poisoned.
The sequel, Boots, who made the princess say, "Now that's a story."
You found this on Wikipedia?
Yes. She was really impressed.
This is sort of a Grimm's fairy tale. This one's gonna get really dark. Boots, upon winning the match, takes the princess, who is obviously there with Vicini. She's in a deep, deep sleep. In her sleep, the pair of Boots...
I forgot Boots was Boots.
Was Boots? Yeah, Boots is Boots. Boots is Boots. Boots relays the most beautiful story of the most beautiful pair of leather ankle boots and his love, a pair of stilettos, to the princess. At the end of the story, which takes several hours, the princess wakes up and she says, "Hey, what just happened? And who are you also, by the way?"
He says, "I'm Boots."
I'm Boots. I'm Boots. He says, "I just relayed the most beautiful story to you, and I think it woke you up from your most deep sleep." And she said, "I couldn't hear. I was obviously asleep. I didn't hear any of it." And he gets really violent, and he grabs her by her lapels and says, "Just say that was a good story. Just say that. Just say anything. Just compliment me on my story." And she said, "That's the story."
Bianca Bella. And the snake.
What a rough life Bianca Bella has. A stepmom that sucks, a mortgage, discriminated against because of her credit score. The most pure-hearted girl in the village of Katakavia. In massive amounts of debt, with no one to turn to except for her awful stepmom. It sends out a cry to all the animals of the woods. I'm gonna set this in 2012. And she says, "Somebody please help me with my crippling debt." The cricket, he says, "I will help you gather berries." He's like, "That's not really gonna cover it." The deer, he says, "I will run for you." And she's like, "What is that? I don't see the exchange." The slithering snake with his serpent-like tongue and his slimy semantics.
It makes sense that he has a serpent-like tongue, since he is in fact a serpent.
It's serpent-like. The slippery, snaky serpent says, "I can give you my venom, and you can poison your tax advisor." Bianca Bella does this, but after this, the snake says, "Now that I have helped you, you are condemned to a life of servitude to me.
And you're cast out of the Garden of Eden."
And you, by the way, you ate the fruit. We didn't touch on that a lot, but yeah.
But it
sucks,
happened.
But it happened. And thus sin was brought into the world.
Last one. The dragon and his grandmother. You get to decide if the grandmother is also a dragon.
Obviously not. So this adoptive dragon. This is a classic Norse myth.
Classic.
Fjordfrum, the fire dragon. Bringer of fire, spewer of fire, lighter of fires, extinguisher of fires.
Seems counterproductive.
In that order.
He's like, "I'm the fire dragon. Fear me." And he like sets everything on fire. And then he's like, "I'm sorry, guys. I gotta..."
It was a mistake. Fjordfjormer. He is in some hot water, and that's a pun because he's Firebringer. He sets everything on fire. It's really tricky in the Scandinavian peninsula. One woman remains. The mother of the Vikings, his grandmother, Thora.
Okay, how many Norse names do you know?
I really just know Thor and Loki. Odineska. She brings water to the land. Everything is extinguished. She finds... Yeah? Question?
I thought
Fjordfjormer
was also the extinguisher
of fires. Yeah, well, it got a little tricky for him. So he had to bring in a consultant.
Odineska.
When all the fire is out, she searches far and wide across the whole Baltics, which at this point is just dry land because of all the water she had to get from there. And she finds a crying Fjordfarmer, so disappointed in himself for lighting
all of Scandinavia on fire and killing everyone but his grandmother.
Yeah, and she says, "We'll start from scratch." And they rebuilt Scandinavia.
Somehow gave birth to the Vikings?
I don't like...
Yeah.
But of course she used her magic...
Okay, maybe she was already pregnant.
...to make clay. Yes, good. Good, she was already pregnant.
So somehow she gave birth to a child that eventually became the Viking.
Yeah,
In
Leif
breeding.
Erikson.
I bet you didn't know he was the
Viking.
grand uncle
It was the
to
grand
Fjordfirmer,
Yeah.
the fire dragon.
fire drake. If there's no dragons in Norse mythology, why are they called Vikings?
Okay, so we're done with
Okay.
Nick pitching fairy tales to the sharks of Shark Tank. Anyway, bye. Ow, I'm gonna poison you.
Get in the trunk. Way up here, it's crystal clear.
This like black cat intern and was like, I'm gonna eat all your fish. And she was like, I don't want you to do that. And he was like, okay, well, I'm gonna anyway. And so he started like eating all the fish. The woman was like, this is a demon. Some guy was like walking by and was like, that's a demon cat. And so he like does an like exorcism on the demon cat. And then the demon cat like explodes. And it was like, the end.